Lions TV back for the summer by Vanarama, driving fan TV all the way to the World Cup, including me. The man sitting next to me needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway. 300 appearances at the club, 15 years, a true Mill legend, Paul Robinson.
All right, Dan, you right, mate?
Top man, thanks for joining us. A one-man, it feels like you're a one-man club, you're not, I know that.
Yeah.
But that's how it felt coming here today to me.
Yeah, it felt that way, it kind of feels that way in a certain way. Like I say, 16 years of your life at one club, just everything about the club I love representing it, love being captain there, and look back and just got a real strong feeling for it.
Let's do exactly that. Let's look back. Let's go back to the very beginning. Signed as a schoolboy. How did that come about?
Signed as a schoolboy. Yeah, weirdly enough, I was at Watford as a youngster from like 10 to 15. Ironically, at the time, Kenny Jackett was the youth team manager at Watford.
Right, yeah.
And I left Watford at 15. I'd had a few injuries, this, that, and the other as standard. And then just went to my local Barnet Youth, who were my local Sunday team, and Bobby Bowery was coaching them. Weirdly enough.
Fucking Bobby Bowery.
Yeah. So
he could point like no other midfielder.
He had the point and look at the bench, didn't he? See what they were thinking. And then so I spent about 6 to 9 months with him there, and then he took me down to Millwall for a trial with Mick Flanagan as a.
Because isn't he an agent now, Bob?
Yeah, he is. He's still my agent. So he's looked after me from that all the way
through. Sorry, Bob.
All the way through, from 15 all the way through. So and then Mick Flanagan was the youth team coach, so he's proper old school, wasn't he? He was that was a bit of a rude awakening as a youngster, but went in for a couple of trials, done all right, and then was there until obviously 32.
Couldn't get rid of you in the end. But
I know.
Yeah. What other players were in that youth team that we would know? Anyone that came
Dunny
through? Was
in my youth team. Dunny was playing right back alongside me, and then I had Mark Phillips the other side of me, so he was in it. Braniff, obviously. Mark Hicks for a while, but obviously he struggled a bit with injury, and Stuart Nelson, who obviously had a decent career but obviously moved on from Millwall.
So yes, it's a strong side.
Byron Bubb as well, you forget about.
I do remember him. What a name, Byron Bubb.
What a talent he was as well.
Yeah,
and he had obviously Bully, Lake Adinsi, who's age group above me as well.
Ronnie Ball.
Yeah, Ronnie Ball. Yeah,
we spoke to him a few times. He's still not right even these days. So you eventually you got your debut. Do you remember it? Do you remember the result?
Yeah, we beat Preston 2-1.
You
come
got
on
it.
as sub. Yeah. I came off
the Peckham Beckham.
Yeah, I did.
Darren Ward.
Played alongside Nevers. I remember but it just went so quick, if you know what I mean. It was unbelievable. And McGee just grabbed me on the side and listen, whatever your first instinct is, to head it, to kick it, do whatever, just follow that first instinct. So for that first 45 minutes that flew by, that's all I did. It's
good. Moving on to McGee, obviously he gave you your debut. What was he like as a manager? I liked him. I liked him as a manager.
He was a player's manager. Do you know what I mean? He was a good man manager. Got the lads on side, built the team spirit, and then had good coaches like Ray Harford and Steve Gritt alongside him. A lot of people I speak to say Ray Harford, great coach. Great coach. You can see why he coached Blackburn to win the Premier League. He was a great coach, but a great bloke as well.
You made your debut.
Yeah.
But then you shut off for a bit. Went out on loan to Torquay for 12, 15 games.
Yeah, I sort of played.
Did that? I know it weren't a long time span. Did that give you a little?
Yeah, I obviously made my debut, and then I got in the team just after Christmas, didn't I? Played in the cup, played against Southampton in the cup, and that was all under McGee. And then I think about 6-7 games before the end of the season, I got injured against Sheffield Wednesday, and then obviously whatever happens, and then I got back in the team under Wisey when he was caretaker manager, and we played 3 or 4 games, and then I done my cruise ship up at Norwich.
Yeah.
And then I spent the whole of that season out, which was of all the seasons to miss, cup final season, wasn't it?
I was going to ask you what that must have been like being in and around the club. It must have been exciting, but at the same time probably frustrating for you personally. Yeah,
obviously it was amazing for the whole club, a club like ours to go to the cup final and everything. So to be all around it as a youngster, obviously I was in and out of the team, had played a few games. So it wasn't like I was an established player who thought, I'm going to be missing out on that.
I see what you're saying. Like Denzel done his knee, obviously. He was fuming, but like you say, you was.
But we did have a good weekend. Denzel, me, Muzzy, Deitch, a few of the lads. Yeah, it was a bit.
Go on, I've heard a little bit about this.
I think they took us down there on the Thursday. I think we had a few good nights out anyway in Cardiff. Yeah, even though.
Oh, because it's Cardiff then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No Wembley.
Yeah. So that was decent. And I think, like Tone says, I think he was half cut leading the team out.
Oh, you've seen it. Yeah, he's. I mean, the change room. We won't go into the team now, but the change room now seems buzzy. And it seems sort of since then it's not been. You can reflect to that time of you was in that dressing room and the characters around that. Was it good to be
unbelievable set of characters, wasn't it? Proper.
What was Muscat like?
Muzzy, right, on the pitch was an absolute animal, wasn't he?
If you Google Kevin Muscat football, there's not a normal picture of him. He's like snarling in someone's face, tackling someone waist up. It's not like just a photo of him in his kit. Like.
And they got that tackle. They say it's the worst ever tackle on the football pitch. Is him folding the geese, isn't it? But Muzzy, but on the pitch, he was an animal competitor. I wanted to win. That Aussie mentality, like you'd love him. And in the dressing room before a match, you know, he was took a lot from Muzzy. But then like, in a setting like this, or around the lads, around the dressing room, or like that, he'd make everyone feel involved, make you feel part of it. Do you know what I mean? Socially great, and make, you know, if you were a bit on the outskirts of it, I felt like he'd get you involved, and he was brilliant like that. Brought everyone together, and like I say, it was almost like a contrast, really. Like just
you hear that a lot. People just they just lose their head. Yeah, they just lose their head the other side of the line.
Red mist. And obviously, still the best headbutt I've ever seen on Paddy Kenny in the tunnel as well. That he did.
Yeah.
That was.
When he planted him. Yeah, because was that the one where Warnock was going, "You deserved that," and all that.
Yeah.
It's on that documentary, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Jody Morris going, "You deserved that from
yeah.
What happened? Can you tell us? Well, you just did.
Yeah, I suppose you can now. Really, can't. I think they were having a bit of to and fro in, and I think they were arguing on the pitch. Something had happened on the pitch. They were arguing, and then obviously got in the tunnel at half time, and then it's all kicked off. But everyone kind of got held back, and I think where Muzzy was being held back, and so was Kenny. Like they sort of stood faced up to each other. All we had left was a flipping fling your headbutt in. So he stuck one on him here. But
he go down.
No, I don't think he did. To be fair, he took it.
He's a beast, and all, wasn't he? A big, massive boulder head.
So yeah, it was interesting. And I know that I think when Ice went up to Chef U, obviously after leaving Mill, even the Chef U lads would talk about that for a long time after. Yeah, like that little brawl in the tunnel here.
That's decent. That is so good.
I think Deitch had a Powerade bottle that he didn't have anything. He was the same. He didn't have anything else. He was trying to whack people with a Powerade bottle.
Big Danny Deitch.
Yeah, Big
What
Deitch.
was he like?
I like Deitch. Yeah, he was a good character.
He was mate. We could a player we could do with him now. He's good in the air, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he's strong in the air. He's got some good headers.
Just good goals, didn't he? Like the one against I think Burnley in the cup run. Didn't he?
That was it. Yeah,
that was a good goal. And
that was a good goal.
No, he was good. No, he was a good character, Deitch. He was.
So eventually, you broke into the team, and you sort of just took over, captain under Kenny jacket.
Under Kenny, I think Nigel Spackman was the one that maybe sort of captain properly for the first time. I know his spell weren't kind of great, but
just erased it from my memory until you brought it back up.
It was a whirlwind, wasn't it? 12 games have gone, like amazing how it happens. But and then like I say, I think when obviously Theo left and what it meant for the club, a lot of players left, didn't we? We lost sort of.
Yeah, see, I liked him as well, Theo. He got a bit of grief, but he was decent.
I think Millwall did well for Theo, and Theo did well for Millwall. I think it was a really good relationship for both sides. You know, it allowed him to obviously step on with what he's done. But then he obviously he had perhaps the finances to back the club in the short term, and then take the money back out in the long term.
A lot of people say, like, you know, they didn't like Dennis Wise. I like Dennis Wise, and when you hear stories like Denzel will tell you, Wise said to him, you know, stay, we're going to go for it, we're going to. I don't know, but there's some people for some reason don't like him. But was he a good manager, Wisey?
Wisey was a good manager. Like, yeah,
he was so experienced. When he played, and you can see in the games where he just waste time, he'd step across the ball and let the geezer take him.
Yeah,
he was so experienced by that point.
In the dark arts and that, when even when he come like passing and that, when it was under McGee, didn't he? His passing, his range of passing, he'd see passes that no one else would see, and you could tell obviously he was coming towards the end of your career, and it gets harder to get around the pitch. 8 or 9 of the first team kind of left, didn't they? Of that kind of cut run and the Europe run. A lot of the boys left, so it left quite a few just as youngsters really before. It's
a good thing for you boys.
It was at the time, and then it just sort of allowed us to kind of come through, even though obviously we went down that season just because it was a struggle. It kind of allowed us youngsters to break into the team and then kind of build a new sort of team and take it forward really.
Over 300 appearances for Mill, 17 goals.
Yeah, not bad.
We'll get onto the goals shortly.
I thought it was more than that. That must be league
goals. Take out Wikipedia. Training don't count. You're on 60. So we'll get on to the glory in a minute, but before the glory we'll take the pain of 2009. Well, let's talk of Huddersfield first. Let's talk what a night.
Yeah.
What a night that was. On the box, and you notched.
Yeah.
Took us to Wembley. That was, along with Leicester recently in the cup. That's one that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was. I mean,
it's electric, wasn't it? You
can't get any more people in the stadium. You can get in, but it just seemed like there was more people there. It was
just a noise, wasn't it?
Oh,
a noise!
What a night that was! A great header from you.
Yeah, I was happy with that one. Yeah, really happy with that. It was just brilliant. Obviously, I'd missed like the year before. I'd played up every game up until the end of January, and then I broke my metatarsal, that famous injury, and then so obviously we got to the player final that year. Obviously beat Leeds, didn't we? Jimmy with a
another
goal,
great night.
And then we just fell short against Scunthorpe, didn't we? Like, we just ran out of steam. I think I
was just convinced we was going to win that day, and then obviously they took the lead. Then when we come back, scored 2, especially with Gary Alexander's goal. What was he doing there?
What a strike! What a strike!
It's unbelievable.
Right behind that was mate. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
And then I thought we're going. And then they just don't know. We did see the second half. It just seemed like.
But then did it go 2-2? And then Gaz had the great chance with the header as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. He said that to me. He said no one remembers the miss, the header. Everyone remembers.
Happy days.
He's had it off, but obviously, we didn't go up. To bounce back from that next year must have been fucking double hard.
Yeah, it was hard, I think. But what was good was that we kept most of the squad together and then added obviously Morrow. I think Kenny realised we just ran it because James Henry had been up on loan until the Leeds game in the semi, and then his loan finished for whatever reason, so he couldn't play in the final, and we kind of just ran out of players a little bit. That meant we had to adjust. I think Grabs came back from nowhere and sort of plays, but
we'll leave him out.
Exactly. It was
So what was because obviously I was there and I saw it all, but you just refresh yourself. Looking back through a lot of your goals, and Morrow was there all the time. Did you have a good rapport with Morrow?
Yeah, I had a good rapport with Morrow. We sort of grew up in similar areas, kind of similar age, so you kind of got that good rapport. Yeah,
I think he's older than me, but he's not. He must have had up all paper around.
It's a grey hair, isn't it?
So yeah, he's. You get on well, Morrow, yeah?
Yeah, he's a good lad, Morrow.
No, he is.
He done well. We kind of, like I say, similar areas, grew up. Sort of. I didn't know him before, as he signed, but once we did, we kind of found, and he just settled in well, didn't he? I think it took him a little while until he scored against Milton Keynes, I think, and then once he scored there, he kind of settled and was happy. And then after that,
he's been away, come back, he can't get rid of him.
No, he's done.
But no, he's
how well's he done the last couple of years?
I think it's a bit mixed at times with him, because sometimes he's a bit like fuck. But he's another one. He's a lovely bloke. Go have a chat with him. Go across the white line. He wants to kill everyone, doesn't he? He wants to kill everyone, from his own fans to the referee to the fucking managers. He's just
take it though, didn't you?
Oh, just because if he didn't have that, he wouldn't be half the player.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, going into this, what's your mindset? Last year, we hadn't done it. Was you captain in 2009?
I weren't, because I'd done my
he was injured.
My foot, yeah. I just got back fit for the semi. I was on the bench for the semis and the final. I got on for both, like in the end of the semi for 10 and the same in the final. Just emergency centre forward against Scunny when I was trying to rest, because we didn't have anyone else. That's
on the end of it.
Kenny realised the squad was just a little bit short,
just a bit bare.
Where Gaz and Chopper had run themselves ragged in that heat.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have anyone else that could come on and affect it.
And we must have been struggling, because Wolford caused havoc that day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
that's how struggling the side of players must have been. Wolford. I remember he was like, when we signed him, I was like, he was blinded for Scunthorpe, obviously. Yeah. He was alright.
I think it was a tough time for him, though, really, when he came. Yeah.
But are you going into this year thinking, what's your mindset going into the game at Wembley, thinking, well, we can't lose 2 years in a row? Or are you thinking, there's no fucking way I'm losing this game?
A bit of everything. I think there was a bit of that, but I think he'd freshened up the squad. Obviously, I hadn't played really the year before, and then Morrow had come in. We had Chops come in as well on loan. I think that there was a few different personnel as well, but I think ultimately we knew that, having beaten Leeds, everyone was like, it was almost like the achievement was getting to the final, playing at Wembley. It was brilliant. Yeah. Whereas this year we were like, no, the prize is getting promoted, so that's what we're here to do.
It did seem like a day out, because it had been obviously our first one. We had Cardiff, but it had been the first one in a long time.
Yeah.
So the 2009 final seemed like a bit of a day out, but like you say, this time that was the feeling amongst the fans as well. You know what I mean?
It was the new Wembley, wasn't it? First time at a new Wembley and all that. To be fair, the fans were unbelievable. The first time, what was it? We took like 55,000, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's like mental.
Do you know what?
Record of me at both, old and new. Was that?
I was a bit younger then, so I do remember the day, but not as well as I remember it now. If I went with my kids, you know what I mean? We had a few. Yeah, we had a coach. Like, there was loads of coaches, but we had my mate had one from the lounge, and we said if we won, we'd have a naked coach on the way home. So we all start naked on the way home.
That's my fault, was it?
Yeah. No. So what was the day like for you to build up? I want to know everything. I want to know if you've had a celebration planned, or you just fucking lost your head when it was.
Yeah, no. I think the year before, actually, ironically, we did the usual thing, the Wembley thing. I think we stayed in Kensington Gardens this year, like in that for that one. The year before, we'd gone to Sopwell House, and after that, I think the evening we ended up having a few more beers than the year after when we won, ironically. But that day, I just knew I was going to be leading Millwall out of Wembley. Knew I was playing. Everything about it was different for me. It was
different mindset.
Yeah, just different mindset. Yeah. I was kind of the year before. You kind of, like you say, I'm one of those. I love to play. I like to be out there on the pitch. I can't sitting on the bench, or in the stand. It's hard work. Do you know what I mean? I want the lads to do well, but it's hard work. So this year I knew I was playing, and just took completely different. So I was just trying to make sure, one, I was totally ready, but secondly, just taking it all in as well, and kind of enjoying the day as much as you can, but still being focused. You know.
What do you remember about the goal? Did you have a celebration plan?
No, well, I would have teared off, I think, but and come down the other end. But I was collared straight away, wasn't I, by Morrow and Bat, like Sean Bat, and just obviously
Must
the
have been
corner strap
unbelievable
flicked and it just bounced up, and I just
you took it well.
Yeah,
you was very composed.
I just see the keeper that side and I thought I'll just try and guide it that side. So
I mean, you was only a yard out. It wasn't a very good goal. But no, you took it down well. You was composed and just stabbed it past him.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
Mate, it was up the other end to us, unfortunately. It was fucking madness. Absolute madness.
I still look back at it now, you know, you're looking at the sky just to see the crowd reaction.
It must have felt unbelievable.
Oh, unbelievable, yeah. Like I say, still watch it back now.
To not only be captain, but then to score the winning goal and miss every boy treat. Be honest.
That was a bonus, though. To be fair, I room with Chopper, and I just said to him, I don't care whatever happens today. I just want to be walking up the stairs, picking up the trophy. That was my only thing that I wanted to do.
Because my question was going to be, I'm a selfish bastard. Would you have got the ump if we'd have scored another one?
Nah, I wouldn't care less.
I'd be like, no, I want it. If it's me, no, I'd have been, no, I want it to stay 1-0.
Might have been a bit more relaxed, I think, if I had done.
Because obviously you would have lost a little bit of the headline. Well, you didn't, because
I think Morrow and Chopper could have made it a second one if they'd have. They could tell that both of them wanted to score that day as well.
No, that's fucking them two up front, and the centre half has to let them know and do the job. But yeah, it was an unbelievable day as a fan, obviously, as a player. What was it like afterwards?
Yeah,
it's just like I've said it already, but it must be a massive sense of achievement to come that close the year before and to regroup and go again. Must have been.
I think that was it, wasn't it?
Good management all round and good team togetherness.
Yeah, exactly. And the way the club was, obviously, the new chairman came in, John Belson, and just gave Kenny that stability and just enabled him to build. And like I say, he'd learnt Kenny, to be fair, from the year before, and made the squad that bit stronger to get us through the whole season. And as it turned out through the play, I mean, we went. If you think about it, we went from the January, we were like some mental 18, 19 points behind Leeds to being 1 point behind them on the last day. And we could have gone up on that last day as well, could be automatic. And we were thinking, how close that, when Morrow scored on that last day.
We like to do it the hard way, though. We like to do it the hard way.
So but I think it worked in our favour, having done it the year before. With this time, we just thought, right, it's business, it's time to go. And us, like I said, we just wanted to get over the line and get promoted. And that night was it was a mixture, really. It was like you say, a little bit of relief, because you thought if you lost again, that would have been tough. Of course. And just a decent party after. I mean, it wasn't as crazy as the year before, really. We didn't go. I think it was more this year. It was just enjoying the moment a little bit. Do you know what I mean? We had a party back at the Kensington Gardens, and it was all in house, all together, and but the lads were decent. And it was just a few beers.
JB had the cigars out.
Yeah, exactly. He had the cigars out. 40 joining in. Gaz still asking Kenny, he's like, I'm still waiting, Ken, any chance of putting me on or what?
He didn't get on, did he?
He was standing behind Kenny for about 20 minutes trying to get on a sub, wasn't he? And we were standing at the bar, I was like, I'm still waiting, Gaffer, any chance of getting me on here?
We've brushed on him, you've roomed with him, you've said his name a few times, obviously our current manager, Neil Bomber Harris. What was he like as a player, to be around, dressing room?
Just brilliant around the place. He was obviously a bit fiery in his younger days, and he'd come out of the non-league. He was quite, but I couldn't get near him when I was a youngster coming through as sort of 18, 19. I think he used to get the ump with me, because where I was flipping a bit off it, then I'd just end up kicking him and sticking him up in the air, and he was so sharp, and you thought, and
he was good, wasn't he? He could have gone.
He had Premier League club sniff. I think it was pretty much. Could have gone to Tottenham was near enough a done deal, I think, before obviously.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think he was
before he got ill.
He got ill, yeah.
So what was he like to room with? Was he a bit of a? I'm hearing he's a bit of a fucker and likes to play up. He's not no more. He's Mr. Sensible now.
In his younger days, I think he was, but then I think. I room with him sort of when he came back, so I think he'd matured and calmed down a little bit since then. But he was always deadly serious about his football. He's just a football nut. So as soon as you get in the room, I mean, this is how many years ago it was. He'd put the teletext on to see all the latest football news and that, in the room. And you're like, we've only just got
the younger ones are gonna be going, what's the fuck's teletext?
He'd be there sitting reading all that, and I'm thinking like, but no, he used to. He was good, and we just used to talk football and.
He's done well. Livers alongside him.
They've done brilliant, haven't they? They've just got a feeling back at the club. I mean, me and Jimmy went to watch the Fulham game just before.
Jimmy had to,
just before the end of the season. and we just sat there in the noise in the stadium and what he's done
We were
for the
so
place.
unlucky that day.
Yeah. Score first half, and then I think you win the game.
Exactly.
But yeah, Chopper, Livers, they've done brilliant. I mean, Livers is probably the calmer head. I think Chopper can get carried away in another way, and I think they're a good balance. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it does.
I
mean,
that
there was
fiery side, then you need that kind of composure as well, and I think they're a good double act.
They got the job on the back of not a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I'll question it at times, but it's fucking works well. It's a good. Like you say, it's a perfect little double act. You don't really hear or see a lot of Livers, but he obviously does his bit, you know.
Yeah.
And like you say, can be the calming influence on Chopper.
And they know the club inside out. They know what it takes. They've been part of successful teams. They know what it takes. You know, obviously Chopper, quite a few of them. And,
yeah, exactly. I know we all say it, and maybe other clubs would disagree. It's a different vibe at Millwall. You've got to be part of it to know what it's about, haven't you?
You've got to understand the club, haven't you?
Yeah.
And the mentality of the club, and what there has to be. I think that connection between the fans and the team on the pitch. And I know that's the same with every club, but I just think Millwall's a special case where when you get that togetherness, it just takes the club just like you've seen this year, really, to places where you think, you know, at one point you were thinking,
oh no, I was like, this is actually going to happen. I was like, this is actually going to happen here.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll kick on next year. On your time at Millwall, who would you say the best player you played? Let's go for the best player you played alongside the centre half.
I think my best partnership was probably with Wardy. We played that many games together, and we got on well off the pitch as well. Like, got on well with Wardy. I know he got a bit of stick, the old Peckham Beckham.
Is he still playing at Yeovil?
He still play. No, he's now. I think he's playing. I played in a charity game at Hemel Hempstead for the Bertrams a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying that he's playing at Hemel Hempstead now. Him and Lloyd Doyley from.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're playing. So they're
yeah,
playing
he was
there.
a good player, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was a good player.
Yeah, well, yeah, he got player of the season about 3 years in a row. Wardy, didn't
just
he?
the stupid haircut, people thought he was a bit of a joker, but he was.
I know he's brave to wear that, wasn't he? But,
to wear it, got off the shelf.
He might as well have done, won't he? But some of them, he must look back and think, what the hell? But no, yeah, me and Wardy, yeah.
What about manager-wise? Best manager you had played under?
I think I'd have to say Kenny, just because
Major captain
and what the success we had kind of working together, and just football wise he's
doing it at Portsmouth now.
Yeah,
he's
doing
a good job, and
football wise he's just excellent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
brilliant. And yeah, I think he's just got a lot of respect around the game and knows football inside out. You can talk football and talk sense all day long, you know.
Yeah. What about? I mean, there's a lot of games. Wembley game excluded.
Yeah.
What would you say?
There's a few, to be fair. I think obviously the Huddersfield one comes.
Yeah.
A very close second to that. That was a great night, and it was at the Den. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. There was a couple of good games that season. I saw one on Twitter the other day where we beat Charlton 4-0 at the Den as well. That was good.
He scored the first one.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
And even the 4-4 at the Valley. I don't know if you heard that one as well.
It was, yeah.
That was an unbelievable game. Then you just look back to things like probably my full debut. We beat Watford 4-0 on my full debut. That was a good day, especially I'd kind of been released by Watford as a youngster, so to then come back and beat them. Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice feeling. So they were all good days, and then even that last one my last game when we beat Bournemouth 1-0 to stay up on the last day.
Yeah.
And kind of got carried off the pitch by fans, like obviously buzzing night that we'd stayed up and it was just kind of a not that you'd ever want it to end, but it was kind of like looking back now, it's probably like a good timing and probably the right way to end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're a lively bunch.
Yeah, they are. Great fans.
So you eventually left the club. Obviously, it was forced upon you. Was it forced? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was pretty clear. I was never gonna be part of Holloway's plans.
Can't say it. I'll bleed that out. Sorry, go on.
You know what I mean. I was never going to be part of his plans. So
tough to take.
It was tough, yeah, because it was all I'd known really as well.
Yeah,
it was all I'd loved, and I'd been there for so long. But like I said as well, I still thought I had some football left in me, so I still wanted to carry on playing. So it's a difficult balance between should I stay, maybe move into another role at that age, or keep playing. And so I decided to Portsmouth was a great opportunity that came along. So I went down there really, and to be honest, kind of similar clubs in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? But not quite as nutty as Millwall, not quite as, but similar clubs, and it was kind of a good fit at that time.
It must be so. Like, it must be obviously like any job you're doing. You're in one place, the same day in, day out, and then you've got to move. I hate change personally or anything. Do you know what I mean?
It's like your first day at school and everything.
My mum and dad sold their house recently. I couldn't deal with it. I hated it. I just don't like change. So it must have been tough to make that change, especially when you get such a connection with one club. But I said at the beginning, just in my head you're a one-man club, but you've gone on Wimbledon. You've become, you know, you've almost done again their club. You've done ours. And
good, yeah. No, it was brilliant at Wimbledon. Like, as in good 3 years I've had there. Do you know what I mean? Good club, good people. And in another way, they've faced their own adversity. They wouldn't be there if it weren't for their fans. They were a couple of hours from being gone, you know.
No, exactly.
And obviously then they started from the very bottom and recreated a new club, and that
they bypassed the old one.
They bypassed the old one, exactly. Yeah, seen off the enemy and go from strength to strength. You know?
Yeah. So every day on social media, you won't know, but I do a good morning post, which I put out. And I just Google random Millwall photos, and one day this one popped up. Talk to me about that. What is that about? It's just about that. It's up there with the most random ones ever.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I think there was 4 of us that day. It was me, Chopper, Steve Morrison, and Liam Trotter. We got asked to do something or other for obviously David Hayes.
Yeah, supposedly a Millwall fan.
Exactly. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yes, and we went down to the ground, and to be fair, he turned up about an hour and a half late. Got hammered by Chopper for being late.
Did he?
Yeah, got hammered.
I was about to say, I fancy Chopper against him in the ring, especially now.
But then he gave us a little boxing session on the pitch, and that just got to meet him, and like I say, he's got a bit of a Millwall connection.
What did you say when I first showed you that photo?
I mean, Barnett was a joke, wasn't it? Mind you, it's not much better now, but
classic. Any other, you know, stories or characters that stand out?
I've played with loads over the years, loads.
I mean, Danny's obviously give us most of the stories in his book, but
yeah, that's true. Well, the one where we slept in Norway for the flipping.
Go on.
We'd been out the night before. We had a pretty mad night, and then we got to so then we were moving from Sweden to Norway. I think it was a pre-season trip, and then me and Danny, we were rooming together, and I think we both. And the manager was right. Listen, you've had a night out. Get your heads down. This was everyone. Get your heads down, and we'll start training at whatever 3. Be ready by the coach at 2, or whatever times it was. So me and Danny got our heads down, and then I think we both assumed the other had set an alarm. And you know, one of those, you're like half asleep, half awake, and you can half hear a coach. And I was thinking,
oh no. And
then it drove off, and then the next thing was about half an hour later. Danny was like, oh, what time are we supposed to be training? And then we both kind of checked the time and realised that.
People put bibs on and shit.
Come running down to reception thinking, and then the coach had obviously gone. That's probably what I
you missed
half
it.
Dreamt half about. Yeah, they didn't come and knock or anything. Obviously,
What did they not think? Hang on, we're 2 players like
I think they were too, because we were 2 young lads.
They'd let you know.
I think they were trying to teach us a lesson. So we took that, and then we had to we got punished for that nicely. There was a court case and everything. We were put on trial amongst the lads, so we had.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was a bit of banter, and it was in a way, and it kind of wasn't.
It wasn't until you got the bill.
Then we got. It was pretty serious. Like your mate Warner, like they were trying to make us like flipping waiters for the butlers for the day almost. We had to flipping serve everyone their food, and Tone wanted us to have an orange in our mouth. We stopped at that point. Do you know what I mean? We weren't going to go that far. Gimps for the day, I think they call it. So you're thinking, here we go. Like
I bet you weren't late again.
No, we weren't late again. It was one of those as well. You think flipping it, like as a young lad, you kind of think, that's it. I'm done now.
Yeah, you shit your pants. It's like you say, like it don't matter you're a footballer or what. I used to be on a building site. You're late. You fucking shit yourself. Trying to think of any excuse you can pull out the bag.
Yeah.
But if you're already in the hotel and in bed, there's no real excuse.
It's like
there.
First pre-season trip, and I'm flipping done this. You think, it's all game over.
So that is it for another Lions Lounge. I'd like to thank Paul Robinson for his time. I speak for not only myself but every Millwall fan. You give us some unbelievable memories.
Top man, Dad.
Appreciate it.
That.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.